Hello, 7th graders. Today we are going to work on solving two-step inequalities. Now, just like solving two-step equations, our goal is to get the variable by itself. We're going to undo everything that's by the variable by using inverse operations. And to decide the order of what to undo, we're going to use PEMDAS backwards. And always remember, what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. We have to balance the equation. So looking at example 1, I have 2x minus 4 is less than 10. Using PEMDAS backwards, I decide to get rid of the 4 first. I undo subtraction first. To undo subtraction, I'm going to add 4. What I do to one side, I have to do to both sides. So we add 4 to the left so that it can cancel out. Then when we add 4 to the right, 10 becomes 14. So now I have 2 times x is less than 14. All right, and 2 is multiplying by x. To undo multiplication, we need to divide by 2. When we divide by 2, we get x is less than 7. Now we're also going to review graphing today, so if I set up a number line, I'm just going to put the numbers next to 7, so I have 6, 7, 8. And then remember, a less than, so not equal to, inequality is going to be an open circle because it does not include 7. And then less than will go to the left, towards the lesser numbers. All right, the next example, 3 times x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 23. We undo the addition first, using PEMDAS backwards. To undo addition, we need to subtract 5 from both sides. Cancels out on the left. Now I have 3 times x is greater than or equal to 23 minus 5 is 18. And then again, to undo that multiplication, we're going to divide. 18 divided by 3 is 6. If we put this on a number line quick, I'm going to put 5, 6, 7, so I have the numbers around it. Now this one is equal to, so because it's equal to, we do a closed circle. It includes 6, and then greater than goes to the right. All right, before we look at these bottom problems, I want you to pause the video and see if you can do this your turn at the top, both 1 and 2. Then you're going to play it back to see if you got it right. All right, so number 1, you would undo the 7 first, so we minus 7. Now we have 2x is greater than 4, then we divide by 2. You get x is greater than 2. And then on the second problem, you add 4. So now we have 5h is greater than or equal to 15. And then to undo multiplication, we divide by 5. I get h is greater than or equal to 3. All right, so we learned this in 7.1 and 7.2, but this is super important. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the inequality sign. So this is how inequalities are different than equations, because equations are just equal on both sides. For an inequality to be true, if you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the sign. All right, let's practice what a couple of these are going to look like. So negative 7 times x plus 1 is less than or equal to 29. First, we're going to undo the addition by subtracting 1. So then I have negative 7x is less than or equal to 28. And then to undo that multiplication, we're going to divide by negative 7. Because we divided by a negative, we need to flip the inequality sign. So now x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Now we're going to put it on a graph. So put the graph here. Negative 5, negative 4, negative 3 are on my graph. This is a closed circle at negative 4, and it's greater than, so it goes to the right. Now the original inequality was less than. If we kept this as a less than, then negative 5 would have made the inequality true. Let's plug in negative 5 to see if that would make it true. If I had negative 7 times negative 5 plus 1 I would have positive 39 plus 1 is 36. 36 is not less than 29. That does not work. Now, if we plug in negative 3, negative 7 times negative 3 plus 1, that would be 21. Plus 1 is 22, which is less than 29. So plugging in negative 3 works. Also, if you think of positive numbers, because positive numbers are to the right of negative 4 on a number line, if I plug in a positive number here, it's going to be more negative, and a negative will be less than 28. So x has to be greater than or equal to negative 4. All right, we're going to do one more of these. Again, we undo the addition first. So you subtract 3. So now I have x divided by negative 5 is greater than negative 15, because when we subtract from negative 12, it goes more negative. To undo division, I'm going to multiply by negative 5. When I multiply by a negative, I have to flip the sign. 15 times 5 is 75. A negative times a negative cancels out. So my answer is x is less than 75. If we put this on a number line, we got 74, 75, 76. This is an open circle at 75, going to the left because it's less than. All right, we're going to end with this word problem. Serena wants to complete the first 3 miles of a 10-mile run in 45 minutes or less, running at a steady pace. The inequality 10 minus 0.75p is less than or equal to 7 can be used to find p, the pace, in miles per hour she can run to reach her goal. We're going to solve this inequality, and then we'll graph and interpret the solution. Okay, so we don't have to write it. They wrote it for us, so I can just copy down that inequality. 10 minus 0.75p is less than or equal to 7. And then when we start solving this, I know we see the subtraction. We want to do the subtraction first. The inverse of subtraction is addition. However, the 0.75 is multiplying by p, so we can't just add that to the other side. And that's what's being subtracted. The 10 is positive. It's not being subtracted. It's just there. So to get rid of the 10, I actually need to subtract it from both sides. And now that minus 0.75p becomes a negative 0.75p, which is less than or equal to negative 3. All right, and then to undo multiplication, we divide. So we're going to divide by negative 0.75p, which we know is also 3/4. If I divide 3 by 3/4, I get 4. And because I divided by a negative, I flip the sign. So if we graph this, we have 4. It's a closed circle at 4. It goes to the right. This means Serena needs to run at least 4 miles an hour to complete the first 3 miles in 45 minutes or less of her 10-mile run. We're going to skip this problem. All right, your assignment today is to complete numbers 8 through 17. You can skip number 18. You are both solving and graphing. You're going to solve all of them. However, you can skip the graphs of 10, 11, 16, and 17. So you have 10 problems to solve and 6 problems to graph.